Hi, back again. So the Arctic fox is dried, and I just want to show you guys at about 3/4 of the way through a painting, I begin a background. So I'm going to show you how to get luscious backgrounds like this owl here. Alright, this isn't going to be a luscious background, but I'm going to show you how it's done. It took me about 4 years to figure it out, so I'll show you in about 5 minutes, and you'll see how to do it. So practice, practice, practice. You get good like this when you've been painting lots and lots. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside and we're going to come back to our fox. I've dried it up. So first stage is wet on wet. Second stage is just part of it wet, but it's wet on wet again. This is what the salt left us with. So really nice. I like it a lot. Take the salt off of everything. It's nice and dry. This isn't bone dry. In here it doesn't have to be because I'm coming into the background. Backgrounds. Here we go. So I'm going to move over so you guys can see and not see my arms so much. What I want to do is wet my background nice and tidy so you don't have to clean it up later. It's better to be tidy. Like that. And I don't want it sopping wet. I just want it wet and then damp. So when you put your water on, don't put your water on like this, because now you got a pool. What you do, for the backgrounds anyways, what we want to do is put on water and let it sink in until the sheen is totally gone. You could even leave this and come back in 5 minutes. For what we're doing now, and to get juicy backgrounds, we want a nice juicy background up here. If you have too much water, if this has too much water, everything is going to swim and you're not going to get the juiciness. By the time it's dried, it's going to get you're going to lose your intensity, and that's something that watercolorists complain about all the time. So the trick to fixing that is to put on a little, as you get going, to put on and learn about your colors, put on a little more color than you normally would. And remember, it's fun. It's your background. You can put on whatever you want. It's your world. And that's so much more important than being perfect, is to have fun and realize this is your world. And the other thing is, you know, I could be expressing myself by painting my angst and, you know, painting pictures that make people feel uncomfortable or angry or, you know, relate to in a negative way. And I think that that's fine, and I'm glad that you know, expression is a part of our world, but for me, I see enough sadness, and I want to express joy and loveliness. And just like the word drawing and painting, when you're drawing something, I like to think that I'm drawing that energy, that positive energy, that experience, the essence of what I'm painting. I'm hoping I'm drawing that into my life, and that's why I paint happy, fun things. All right. So, by the time I get up here, it's going to sink down to nothing. This is like gone. And what I'm going to do, for this down here, it is going to be light and fluffy, so I can add water. As I come up here, I won't be adding so much water, and I'll be getting darker. I just want to come up here once. I don't want to come into my background twice for this painting. So there's two ways of doing this. I can just throw this on, or I can show you how I would do it if it was a large and even larger painting. Generally what I do, and I just started practicing this year, is I put on, I use gravity to feed everything now. So I would start over here. Doesn't really matter though. Now remember, our cold blue, which is on our palette here, our cold blue over here, cameraman, our cold blue is what comes forward. So I am going to actually re-wet this all down here. I'm not going to re-wet up there when I come up there. I say that, but maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to wet this again. I'm going to be using my cold blues induthrine to come forward like this. Kind of like that actually already. And if I find that I've got a little too much color, then I just swoosh along with some water. All right. And I pull that edge. Let's see what we got. So I'll turn it back. Oh, I like that. I'm getting some movement here, so I'm just going to go with it. So then I'm going to come into my cold blue, drop some in maybe in the shadow. I want to keep a nice round paw there, so I don't want to take that away. And I'm going to drop in a little bit of my violet. I love the violet. I love this combination. I paint with it all the time. I've got a little something happening here, so go with what your painting is doing. Don't fight against it, thinking that, you know, you think you know better, because oftentimes we don't. We need to go with what the painting is showing us. It's going to come in like that. I see that nice movement happening here. And then, if I wanted to, I could paint up to here, let it dry, da-da-da-da-da, but I don't really want to do that. I just want to be nice and loose with my background. So I'm going to come in with a bit of salt, put some on, and I'm just going to go with my painting. I'm going to turn it around. I might re-salt this in a minute, because as you can see, it's quite wet. And what I want to do now, so my induthrine, the cold blue is in here. I'll still have a little cold blue back here, but I'm going to start switching colors. If you get a bloom, like here it's drying, I don't worry about it, because it's snow, so what? So you get a bloom. Okay, so back I come. So this is really important here. Now I'm going to go into my warmer colors, and I kind of want to I'm going to get some action happening right in here, because, can you see that? Because I want my interest to be my eye. The eye is the window of the soul. It's the whole point of the painting to me. Alright, so at about there, I'm going to get juicy. Now I have no color on underneath this, so I do not have to worry about what I'm going to do with my brush. And I come. I'm being very careful about this here, because I don't want to spend a lot of time tidying it up. And partway through I can turn it to see what it's going to do. Add a little more salt down in here. I know that I add a lot. Sometimes I add too much salt. So I've turned it regular, because I just want to see what my horizon's doing over here. And I really love curves, so I'm going to work on getting curve in there. Back I go. Add a little of the induthrine blue. Whatever's going on down here, I want a little bit up here. Whatever's going on up here, I want a little down there. All right, here we go. So now look at how thick it is. Now we're getting to cream level, consistency of cream. So in I come, and I come. Like that. This is very wet, so I just take a scoop. But look at how juicy I've got this. You can go even juicier. Let's just throw in, for fun, to make the fox pop out a little more. I love purple. Probably will say that over and over again, because I just do. And it comes. Look at that. Ooh. Beautiful. All right, now I'm going to introduce some warm in my background. maybe the sun. And what I can do is use a skiff of water and a skiff of water. Get my Kleenex in my hand here. And this water is going to separate the blue a little bit from the next color I'm going to add, so I don't get too much green. Maybe I don't want too much green in there. Now, I may put a little bit of salt up here, but if I get too much, it's going to be a blizzard, and then that'll take away from my fox, and I really don't want the background to take away from my fox. But you can correct that easily. If you get a blizzard in your background, you can just put a soft wash of blue over your background. So now I'm going to introduce a new color. I'm going to come in with a new color for my background anyways. I'm going to come in with some, so I want that in there, some yellow, dropping in a little bit of pink too, what the heck. And let's see. And I don't want my corners too light or I'll go off the page, so I'm going to make sure that, oh, this is going to look nice. So a little pink. Now remember, pink, blue, and yellow make a gray, and I don't really want gray in here, so I'll just make sure that, you know, I don't add some blue in there, then it would be gray. We'll be working with grays soon here. All right, and we're getting close to the finish here. I like curves. That's pretty. And I can do this. I'm timing it too, so I'm pretty quick. And I go with some purple. Into some blue. We're almost done here. Ooh, that's kind of pretty. It's kind of like a fireball. Or northern lights or something. All right. Down we come. And I'll just take a little water. Rinse my brush. Take a little more water. And this blue. Come in and put some hair in there. And we are now done. I'll put a little salt just down through here. And I may just look at this here. Maybe it's too fireball-y, I don't know. It's kind of neat, actually. You know what, I actually just might leave it. Sometimes it's better to leave it than to start fooling around with it and ruining your painting, which happens. And we're done, and we'll see you when it's dry.